Hi, I'm George Gerbo, and welcome to Washington Times Weekly, where we get a chance to sit down with our reporters and talk about their coverage of the latest news and events. And joining me once again is Washington Times White House correspondent, jack of all trades, Kerry Picket. Good to see you again.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll start with a recent visit you took to New York City, this mayoral race for New York. Eric Adams not running again, withdrew after this upstart candidate, Zohran Mamdani, self-described democratic socialist, has gained a lot of traction among a lot of people. You spoke with some of those people to kind of gauge their views and why he's been so popular. What are some of the reasons behind his surge in momentum?
Well, look, you have a lot of young voters in New York who really loved a lot of what Assemblyman Mamdani had to say. And look, you have Andrew Cuomo, who first ran against Mamdani in the ranked choice election, mind you, in the primary. That really helped Mamdani. Andrew Cuomo, he was sort of resting on his laurels. Lots of people figured he was going to beat Mamdani in the early polls during the primary. It looked like he was going to beat Mamdani. Republicans fielded lots of candidates, and many Republicans figured, ugh, Cuomo, foregone conclusion, and they figured they weren't going to run. So Sliwa was really their only choice, and he ended up simply being the choice for Republicans because a lot of other Republicans simply didn't step up. And Mamdani ended up winning that particular ranked choice voting primary. Now he looks like he is way ahead, double digits into this particular race. He has lots of DSAers, otherwise known as Democratic Socialists of America, young voters out there, and they're saying that he is the future of the Democratic Party, a la Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, in that the Schumers of the world, the Charles Schumers of the world, are the past.
Yeah, Assemblyman representing Astoria, Queens. Eric Adams, the incumbent mayor, thought he was going to mount, and you can do this in New York City, mount an independent style campaign. We've seen other candidates do it. He has since withdrawn, endorsed Cuomo. Curtis Sliwa, the Republican candidate. It's interesting. I don't want to say New York is a bellwether for other Democratic races elsewhere in the country, but it's kind of a unique microcosm because 8 million people in New York. I mean, it's more than most states in the union managing this city of 5 boroughs. And Cuomo, Mamdani, it's kind of this, I don't want to say similar, I don't want to say nothing new, but Cuomo was governor in New York. He's, legendary name in New York politics. Mamdani, like you said, with AOC, that's kind of where these factions are at this point, which I would say is good on a national scale. If they were perhaps running against each other for the Senate would be interesting. But like when it actually comes down to managing a city in the ways that Ed Koch and Michael Bloomberg and Rudy Giuliani have done over the past 2 decades in New York, it seems like a proxy race for a national race, but in reality they've got to run New York City at the end of the day, and it's going to be interesting to see how either of their styles are going to fit that.
Well, you bring up an interesting point here. This is exclusively for New York City. I was talking to one very prominent Democratic consultant, Hank Scheinkopf, and he pointed out to me that, look, this may go down in New York City, but if someone like AOC were to run against Schumer, she'd have a very tough time beating him because of the suburbs as well as upstate New York. So, anyone who has sort of these fantasies that AOC is going to be running even nationwide, and she's going to have a likely tough time even running statewide for that matter. So she still has a lot of work to do.
We'll stay with election politics in this cycle. We'll move to Virginia, where Democratic Attorney General nominee Jay Jones running against incumbent Republican Attorney General Jason Miyares. And Jones has been embroiled in this text message scandal, which 3 years ago, he sent violent, threatening text messages to a fellow member of the Virginia State House at that point, threatening the lives of the then Virginia State House Speaker Todd Gilbert and his family. Those have become public, and it's dinged his candidacy, but Kerry, it's also kind of been a focal point and crystallized these other statewide races that are going on in the Commonwealth.
That's right. You had Abigail Spanberger, who was at the top of the ticket running for governor for the Democrats. And it seemed like to many that she was going to just coast into the governor's mansion over in Richmond. All of a sudden, now you have Jay Jones, who is running for AG. All these text messages came out, and it seems to be sort of pulling down the ticket because it has energized many Republicans to come out and vote early. We are looking at the statistics. We're looking at the numbers, and the Republicans are energized in many counties all over the Commonwealth. So while it is not a guarantee, it looks like Republicans are currently out organizing Democrats right now as far as getting to the polls early. That being said, though, the Democrats still have raised so much money, and they are outraising Republicans 2-1. Nevertheless, though, Jay Jones could have some problems because if he somehow manages to eke by and get over the finish line, he's currently under investigation right now because people are looking at a reckless driving issue where they said, okay, well, your situation here is that you have to do some, work, some sort of service to the NAACP and to like some sort of organization. It turns out that the organization was his own political PAC, and that was a no-no. So he's also dealing with that. So this is going to be a big night to watch in Virginia because it looks like it's going to be a huge squeaker, not just even with the AG race, but also with the governor's race.
Yeah, and in the Commonwealth, going back to the 1700s, these elections every 4 years on the off cycle, very traditional, and also only one term. Virginia's governors serve. So that's why it always seems like there's turnover in Virginia. That's because that's kind of built into the system that way. Let's wrap up with the latest thing that you've got on your plate, and that's your new weekly column, The Advocates, talking about things going on in the advocacy space, which is ever growing, ever always busy, always constant, something going on with groups that are trying to get their message out or advocate for their point here in Washington and across the nation.
That's right. Definitely come check out my new column, The Washington Times. It's called The Advocates. These are groups that range from 501c3s, 501c4s, trade groups, all kinds of groups on the left, on the right, libertarians and everything in between. And we are interested in checking out what you have to say. Just send it over to theadvocates@washingtontimes.com. We want to see what all types of groups are saying and what events they're up to, who you're hiring, who you're firing, and also what types of campaigns you're doing.
Never a shortage of interest and activity in those spaces. We know that much. And you'll keep us informed on it. Carrie, thank you as always for the time.
Sure thing.
You can check out all of Carrie's work online at WashingtonTimes.com and on social media. I'm George Gerbo. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.